So first you go to the weka website, to the software tab, and there you'll find the installers for Windows or for Mac or even Linux platform. And you either download the 64-bit Windows version or the 32-bit Windows version, and I recommend that you include the Java virtual machine install. The second thing you need to do is download the data file on the on-course page, and the exact file you need is this one, the CSV format. At the end of the installation procedure you can choose to start up weka, but the next time if you want to start up weka you have to do the following. You go to the program files directory and go to the folder where weka is installed. You hover with your mouse somewhere over the folder, you click shift and click the right mouse button, say open up a command window. Here's your command window, and then you type java/jar weka.jar, and that will open weka up for you. Now every time you run a classification in weka, it will keep it in memory. So after a few reruns, your memory buffer will be full. So you can one thing you can do is increase the memory that is appointed to weka, and you can do it by typing in the following command, which is java xmx, and then type in the amount of memory you want to assign to weka. After that, jar weka.jar. Now weka has been assigned 2 gigs of memory, and the default for weka is 1 gig. Instead of allocating memory using the command line, what you can also do is go to the weka folder, and there's the run weka ini file. You can open it up and you'll find the max heap variable where you can change the allocated memory to weka. So by saving this new number, you can start a weka with additional memory without having to specify it. For those who want to have an easy shortcut to weka, you can add the following into a new file. Just specify the amount of memory you want to assign to weka, whatever you prefer. And the important thing to do is and you put it somewhere in your desktop, and make sure that it's not in text format but in BAT, which is a batch file format, and then save it. Once you click on this newly created file on your desktop, weka will start up. Okay, so once you've installed and started up weka, in order to perform a classification, go to Explorer. You get a new tab, and this is the main tab where you can load in your file. So you go to Open File, you go to wherever you have downloaded the data file, and mine is present within this folder, but first we have to select the right file format, which is CSV, and then it should show up. Mine set is has been transformed to a training set, so I'll take that one. I'll open it up. Well, here you can see all the variables. This is also a part where you can select the variables you want to use and which you want to remove. There are some additional filters you can use, which I won't go into now, to pre-process the data if you want to. And if you want to classify, you go to the tab Classify. Here's the main classifier you're going to use. At the moment it's 0R, but we want to choose something else. So we go, for instance, to the trees section, and we go to random forest. Now you can see that the random forest classifier is loaded. By clicking on it, you get another tab, and here are the parameters for this specific classifier that we can change. If you hover over one of those variables, you get some information about what it does, what it contains, what it means, or you can even click here for some additional information as well. I won't go into these now because everybody uses a different classifier. I'll just pick the random forest for now. These test options are important. the data set you just loaded, within these test options you can determine what amount of the data will be used as a training set and what part will be used as a test set. By specifying this one, we'll just use the whole data as a training set and no test set. Here's the cross validation, the k-faults version, as has been explained within the lectures. And there's also the percentage split, where you say assign a percentage of the data as a training set and the rest will be used as a test set. For this instance, we'll use a cross validation. One of the most important parts is this list, and this particular variable that is selected is the to be predicted variable. So we all have to predict the grade, so we choose grade. And it's important you do this every time, because if it's set to another variable, you're not really doing what you want to do. And at this point you can perform your classification. Here you see all input variables. Currently it's building the model for each fall. And when that's done, you get an overview of the results. Every time you perform a classification, it will be stored, and you can find within the result list, you can find every classification that has been performed. But this also means that a classification keeps being stored in memory, and at some point your memory buffer will be full. The memory assigned to weka will be full, and therefore you cannot continue doing another classification. You will get an error. And to prevent this, the first thing I showed you is to increase the memory allocated to weka. But the other thing you can do is right click on one of the entries and delete result buffer. This means that the classification is removed from the memory, but it also means you cannot look back at the results. So what you could do in advance is save the model, and you can save it wherever you want. You give it the name, test and then it's stored. If you later want to load the model again, just go to load and it will load in the model. And now you're able to review if it's processed. Not yet. Yeah, okay, now it's loaded into weka again. And if we want to use the parameters as we set it up in that model, we can say reapply this model configuration, and it will load those parameters for the next classification.